I want every single person that works hard to be able to be paid, for exactly what they're actually worth. Don't get me wrong here. But when it comes to like mom and pop fast food restaurants or even, Burger King, McDonald's, etc., right? These places are not going to be able to kind of, facilitate the 20, 25, even 50, from what I've heard recently, right? An hour that people are asking for, guys, right? These locations are generally starter jobs. All right, let's just be honest here. Right? And so when you start passing laws, specifically $20 an hour, $50 an hour, etc., what you're doing is you're really making how do you say this nicely, right? What you're doing is you're making the employee aspect of the actual monthly bills so expensive that the restaurant's either going to have to make everything double, triple the price. Example, but $20 Big Macs and things like that happening on the East Coast, guys. Keep this in mind. Everything is going to get more expensive. So I think personally, I want you to be paid what you want, but maybe you should find something else to do, right? Other than specifically fast food. Because what's going on now, as of now, is layoffs. Like thousands and thousands of layoffs of these people now, guys, right? So now the customer is now going to have to either be paying more for things, right? Or have a longer wait time, which is making things absolutely terrible, depending on what part of the country you're actually in. And again, I want to reiterate this. I want people to be paid what they're worth. But I'm not sure these mom and pop restaurants can afford to do that. Like specifically what they're asking, at least. But let's go and jump into the video, guys. California's looming $20 minimum wage is set to cause layoffs. Yeah. This is a suggestion via Discord, guys. Go and check it out.
California Governor Gavin Newsom has a little catchphrase he loves to repeat. Quote, as goes California, so goes the rest of the nation.
Get that man out of here.
But if that's true, you should be afraid. Hella afraid.
His own administration admits it's facing a $38 billion budget shortfall. However, the nonpartisan legislative analyst's office says that number could be nearly twice as high.
That's
Whoops.
crazy.
And while Newsom loves to brag about how many jobs the Democrats have created over the years, his own state now has the highest unemployment rate in the entire nation at 5.3%. And it was dead ass last in job growth for all of 2023.
Guys, keep this in mind. When it comes to the jobs that are being kind of spoken about these days, it really is, like rideshare jobs. Or jobs that you're working basically temporarily, right? While you actually find a real job, if that makes any sense here. That's generally the jobs that are being reported. Things that are, food delivery services. A lot of people are doing this thing. So yeah, job numbers are going up because they have to absolutely report this. But is that really a job? These people are underemployed. They're employed, right? They're not unemployed. They're underemployed. They're not making enough money to support themselves at all. These are temporary jobs. But all right, count them if you want, I guess, bro.
And it was dead ass last in job growth for all of 2023. And his new minimum wage hike has only made matters worse.
But lying about job creation is just par for the course for these Democrats.
Don't compare me to the almighty, compare me to the alternative. We added 12 million jobs. That's just counting the lawyers that defended the president.
Quick little fact check. Biden didn't add 12 million jobs. He just added back the jobs that were lost during the pandemic because of the Democrats' lockdowns.
So sadly, yes, so goes California. So goes the rest of the nation. Right down the tubes.
Wait. Because of the Democrats' lockdowns? The Democrat wasn't in office when this happened. Let's start right there. But here's the thing. So when this happened, I was in Spain. I was in Europe. I can definitely tell you that the rest of the world, because of the lack of lockdown, that's actually what forced the lockdowns in the United States of America, world pressure. Americans like to travel, right? And if you think that you can have an American passport and go into another country, specifically, at that time, they were easily, every American was getting denied access to nations because you were specifically coming from America, and they knew that things were running rampant here, right? And so that's the absolute reason why this happened. It was the world pressured the United States of America to lock down. I'm not sure it had anything to do with the Democrat lockdown. It's weird.
California, so goes the rest of the nation, right down the tubes.
For more on California's minimum wage hike, let's bring in Scott Roderick. He's a board member on California Alliance of Family-Owned Businesses and owns 18 McDonald's restaurants in Northern California. Thank you for joining us, and congratulations on surviving this long in California. What do you make of these big proclamations that Democrats and Gavin Newsom have created all these jobs that, in fact, you created?
Well, the outcome of the proclamations that have been made now is that 15,000 franchise restaurants throughout the state of California will open for business on Monday, literally walking towards a government buzzsaw. And the vast majority of those restaurants are family owned and operated, like my restaurants. I underscore family owned because franchisees are not large global corporations.
Right, they're
Our
not.
brands might be national, but franchisees are local businesses. Mm-hmm. So what is happening on April 1st is you're now reporting is unprecedented in California, let alone in any state of the union. We're talking about a massive 25% mandated wage increase targeted solely to fast food employers, family-owned businesses like mine. So simply put, 25% overnight when we open for business on April 1st. The other unprecedented element of this really poorly conceived legislation is that it is so discriminatory by its nature. Politicians in California have literally picked winners and losers with a stroke of a pen.
Yeah. Guys, really quickly. So this is what happened here. So the governor of California did something absolutely crazy. So all fast food restaurants got hit with this mandatory minimum of $20 an hour, except for his best friend for some reason, right? His best friend says, you know what? Listen, I want Panera Bread. Please, I don't really want to have to pay $20, minimum. So what Gavin Newsom did was said, listen, all right. So if you have a bakery inside your restaurant, then and only then do you not have to pay $20 minimum, bro. You want to talk about corruption? Sounds a little corrupt, Gavin Newsom.
Politicians in California have literally picked winners and losers with a stroke of a pen. I mean, talk about blowing up an even playing field. From my perspective, I believe that a fair wage for one should be a fair wage for all. And if that means if you're an entry-level employee working in a retail store, working in agriculture, a teacher's assistant, and someone who makes Big Macs, a fair wage for one should be a fair wage for all.
Scott, the thing that I think I can speak for Charlie as well, that we can never get our heads around, is that these policies are created by politicians and bureaucrats, and it always seems as if they never actually talk to the business owners and the operators and the families that run these businesses. And they are told over and over again, this is what's going to happen if you raise the minimum wage, and they do it anyway. And then the layoffs have already started.
Guys, I just thought about something super interesting here. If you raise the wage, sure. He said 25%, and that means every single thing in the store is also going to be raised 20%, 25%. Think about that really quickly. This also could be what is aiding inflation, because now, again, if we have to pay you more money and then everything else becomes more expensive, then everything is going to become more expensive, and the money that you have is now worth basically the same as it was before we gave you the additional money. That's just the reality of things, right? If there's more money out there, things are going to get more expensive.
You're absolutely right, Diggin. The repercussions have already started. While this new legislation goes into effect April 1st, we've literally seen something on the order of 1,500 delivery drivers that work for Round Table and Pizza Hut being laid off. There's 18 Subway sandwich shops, family owned, that were operating around my restaurants up in Northern California that closed in the middle of the night at the end of February. So I fear that what is going to happen post April 1st is literally going to be an awful impact to small business owners.
It will.
And sadly, now that the water is under the bridge, because there is no going back to changing the legislation, the best that I can do is not only trying to survive and thrive, because I've been in this business now for 30 years, but perhaps through my experience serve as somewhat of a harbinger, a canary coming out of the coal mine to warn other small business owners around the country that you have to be vigilant. You have to be proactive. You have to be engaged in the political process, because only you and your family will be able to protect your hard-earned equity and your cash flow. And without cash flow, I can't create jobs and keep jobs in the communities that I do business in.
Right, right.
I'm assuming you've probably already had some of those conversations with some of your beloved employees.
Well, you know, the number one question that employees have been asking, whether they be in my restaurants or around the cities that I operate in, is what is going to happen to my job? Will my hours be cut? Are you going to close the restaurant?
Plausible.
And frankly, given all the choices I have in terms of surviving, let alone thriving post April 1st, the last thing, at least in my organization, that I'm thinking about doing is impacting the biggest asset that I have in my restaurants, which are people. I mean, people make hamburgers, people smile to customers, people work in my restaurants. They don't run themselves. And so I'm going to try to do everything I can to somehow survive. I can't speak to other franchisees. There's literally 15,000 restaurants operated by, I'm guessing, something like 2,000 different families throughout the state. They're going to have to unpack whether they survive through price, being more aggressive in seeking labor efficiencies, making hard choices around CapEx, you know, deferring the HVAC on the top of the roof, or asking the landscaper to come every other week instead of every week, or not investing in a $35,000 grill. I mean, everything has to be on the table for small business owners like myself.
Right. And what does that tell you? Quality is about to drop. That's it. I mean, what's going to happen is that in fact, they're going to start cutting corners. Either that or accept a immediate price increase on every single thing you purchase from these places. And that's just the reality of things. They have to recoup the money. And again, if the CEO of this organization is not making money, there's nothing in it for him, meaning that he can just close the doors tomorrow. And I think that's what a lot of people don't fully recognize. McDonald's, specifically McDonald's, they're all owned by individuals generally, right? I think they have like maybe 2 or 3 actual like corporate locations, guys, if that.
Scott, keep talking. Keep talking, Scott Roderick, and you're welcome back anytime. Thank you so much for being here.
You're a great
today.
patriot. Thank you.
Indeed, sir.
Thank you, Dagan. Thank you, Charlie. Appreciate it.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey.
All right. I mean, I like a good patriot. Sure, American flag right behind me. I love a good patriot. But I don't think he said anything patriotic. But either way, right? Good on you. Yeah, again, so the reality of all of this here is that a lot of these business owners, specifically the ones who are going to be forced to pay, a set amount of money per hour now, they're going to start getting rid of the people, bro. I'm sorry. There are robots that exist that can flip burgers now, bro. They can do all of these things. They can get the French fries. They can do every single aspect of what's required, and that's one payment. One payment. You buy it once. All right, maybe a subscription fee for someone to come out and fix something, or you just hire one person in the restaurant, a manager, whatever it is, guys, right? And they sit in the back and make sure that the machines are always working consistently. And if there's something wrong, call the handyman, guys. That's what I think a lot of these restaurants are going to be. Like, I went to Checkers the other day, and there was not even anyone there to take my order. Okay, I spoke to AI. It was the weirdest thing in the world, but they're saving money. This is what a lot of these companies are going to end up doing. It is what it is, right? But all right, listen, you guys all have an absolutely amazing day. Enjoy your day thoroughly. Guys, before we go, are you guys subscribed to the other channels? Logical Movie Reviews with Mr. L. Boyd, along with Mr. L. Boyd Music. Both are found in the description. Check it out.